so intense. Mercy shall not come. Your head. I should slap on the wrist. I can only assume you appreciate how infinitely powerful I've become. In the sweat, your retribution! Kamehame!
Boom, guys, you already know what it is. You know LT, aka TANKdGAMER. Now today we're giving a full in-depth character guide to Sparking Zero, so let's get into it. Bow!
Have been deeply etched into my mind and body.
First thing first, what you want to need to know is his combo strings. One of his most essential moves is going to be finished. So when you press square then triangle, as you can see, it goes for a heavy smash at that point there. It can also be activated when you step back and then you press triangle once again, or you step to the side and use it there at that point. Now the essential benefits for using this is, for example, it gives you time to attack. So bear this in mind, when they do block, they lose ki throughout this process, and that way you're able to kind of attack them if their ki is really low. So while your opponent's not guarding, if you press square triangle, you come with a little gut blow, and that way you can get behind your opponent since they're recovering, trip them over, launch another combo, bam, bam, and to do whatever sort of damage combo you know. Alternatively, you don't even have to get behind them to cause some serious damage. You can actually go with a heavy finish into a combo. So press square there, and while they're falling, they're in a stun lock animation where you can just land supers, ultimates to just carry on the damage from that point on. So realistically, if you've got an ultimate which is built up and you're waiting to use it, or even a super just to finish with your opponents, this is a good way to kind of just finish off the match as soon as possible. We've also got Delta heavy finish as well, which is, and that's just a good way for your opponents not to be able to tech exactly what you're doing, and it can keep the combo string going on for a bit more longer as well.
You fool! Finished! Mercy shall not.
And then do whatever you need to do from that point of time there. Now, a second string combo will be his Ki Blast Cannon, which is useful against opponents that are blocking. For example, whilst they're blocking, you can still apply damage and then go with a grab at this point in time. On top of that, you can actually go into like different strings of combos as well. So they're blocking, obviously because they're blocking at this time, obviously his guard's still up, but you can still put the pressure on him and go with different moves like that. Now since my opponent isn't blocking at this point of time, I can go into a lot more strings of combos. So Ki Cannon, follow up with this rush, heavy finish, shoot him over, knock in the air, hold him back down. And you can just go with a lot more strings from that point on, depending on what combos you've got lined up. Now if I was to go with a different route now, once they get hit with a Ki Blast combo, I could then go for that, pick them up off the ground, and then carry on with a juggle from this point on. Now Flying Kick being the first string of Goku Blacks, it may not allow you to do a lot more combo strings, but it will allow you to put more pressure upon your opponents, because as you see my opponent is blocking straight ahead. I can't penetrate the guard unless I hold a heavy punch or anything like that. But what Flying Kick does, it does alleviate, because for example they have to block up to defend themselves from it. So we're pressing 3 squares in triangle, I am able to hit my opponent. That allows me to be able to hit my opponent from multiple attacks from that point on, since their guard is now open. So as you can see from that point on. Now once you've learned all your rush chains and you understand the mechanics of them and how they all work, you should be able to link up a combo that can damage as much as this.
Mercy shall not come. It's time to end this.
Alright, so why do I use Goku Black's base form more than I use Super Saiyan Rose? And the reason being towards that is having this move here, Wild Sense. So you can see with Wild Sense, I've already used it at this point in time, but it does allow it to be stocked. So while I have it activated, as long as I don't get attacked, it should be able to just defend me when it needs to come in handy. So if I set my opponents to attack, as you see, it won't attack from Ki Blast, but from rush attacks or even smash attacks, it'll be able to kind of defend you against it. And even when it comes down to like ultimates, supers, you're able to kind of just get around it and then kind of defend yourself. Now, whilst this is great when it comes down to you being your opposition and even your defense. For example, it played in much clutch when I got attacked there, and I was able to just super counter in time, just because it gave me a little bit of time I needed. Alright, so as you can see with Goku Black, while he lands his moves, he gets around a 9.5 increase while using finish sign. So as you can see there, he got 7,107. And then at this point here, he now gets 7,784. This applies to all of his moves. He gets around a 9.5 increase. 14,955, and landed it with finish sign activated would be 16,380. So that'd be a 9.5 increase over all of his attacks. And just to clarify with you guys, the basic string combo. So that's 2,453.
This is the finale.
2,686. So there you go, 9.5 increase in all his attacks. Now there was one move I actually ended up missing out on. That was Black Bind. Probably Goku Black's best move. The fact that it's unblockable and it does around 8,000 damage as well.
This is the finale. What a fool. I'll kill you just as you wanted.
I don't tend to use his Super Saiyan Rose form quite often, but it is quite useful in terms of obviously the damage output you put out, and then on top of that you have instant transmission and also just laugh. I like teaming those moves both up together to each other, so that way I can kind of make my opponents lock off to me, fly up, use your just laugh, fly back to them, and hit with ultimate, and that's going to take a whopping damage on their health right now. So 18,526 damage.
Makes me the
That's without
strongest
no
being
boost.
in the universe.
There you go, he said it. Now from his base form, I told you that with his basic combo he does around 2,453. He's now pushing it up to 3,159. So that's a whopping 28% increase at least, or even 29%. But when checking out his key, it's a little bit different. You get 311 from your basic melee attack. And then when you use your key blast again, you get around 391. So that's around a 25 to 26% increase in power. So when it comes down to, I believe, his key blast, 26% increase. And when it comes down to his melees, it's going to get around 28 to 29. Alright, so now we're moving on to Goku Black Rose's melee attacks. Compared to the previous one, you started off with heavy finish. It has now changed to a flying kick. So the first move will be a flying kick chain. Again, those won't be blockable from standard. You have to block up to actually defend yourself from it. And now the second one will be a heavy finish. Now when you do a heavy finish, the same rule applies here as well. It'll be the same combo strings you had previously from before. Again, you can chain them to all these sort of things. And then you also have your alternative one as well. Like that. And again, with that move, you can then combo a super or anything like that you like to put together with it. Alright, so this is where things get really interesting. Goku Black Rose actually has a rolling hammer in his moveset. So if you press 3 squares, follow with a triangle, you have now their cheeks facing you. So now Goku Black's got kind of ideas, right? So he wants to kind of combo that into you, do whatever sort of damage he wants to do at this point in time, and you can't really do much against it, against a super counter, which is kind of hard to pull off in the game in the first place. So therefore, while putting your opponents from this position to this one, it becomes godlike. Rolling Hammer does have a combo that can extend from the move as well. While pressing the 3 square, then triangle, and then you press triangle square after that, it will then give you a stun lock knockdown, which then allows you to do like supers, ultimates, etc. You name it. So just take example. Which should usually always connect. So therefore, while you're landing moves like that, you should have the upper hand of actually pulverizing your opponents. Now the last of his combo chain, you now have his rush key wave. Now with this move, it is unblockable, so you will take some damage even if you are blocking. So for example, as you see there, she is able to teleport, but at times she still took 1,880 damage. Now if they aren't blocking at this point in time, it becomes really deadly to be hit by this. So let me show you. So you can say 7,380 damage she took. Now that's strong as his base supers. So I mean, if you want to kind of get yourself lucky and get a hit with that combo, then count your days short. Now with that being said, you don't always have to land that move to do some serious damage. You can actually combo it into something else. So you can chase after your opponent and just kind of squabble with these sort of hits and such things like that. Now his stepping attacks do link to his rush keyway, so I can step back, press triangle, or I can step right and then do that way, left, or even forward. And then that can link to this move. Now your rush keyways from a stepping attack can also link to your vanishing attacks as well. So the key feature what you want to focus on is take a little second out, and then you can actually press triangle, and it links up for the combos from that point in time. Now once you've learned all your rush chains and you understand the mechanics of them and how they all work, you should be able to link up a combo that can damage as much as this.
Mercy shall not come. Or retribution.
So now the reason why I like chargeable attacks like the Black Kamehameha is because my opponents don't even know when I'm actually about to launch it out. For example, I can hide behind a wall, charge it up fully, let go of it, and there I get 13,235 damage by hitting them in their blind spot. These are the advantages of using chargeable attacks rather than ones that have a cutscene. And then you have Guarded Display, which is a pretty good rush as well. Unfortunately, this one isn't unblockable like the Black Bind, but it does a crazy amount of damage regardless to make up for it. Alright, so last but not least, you'll have his ultimate blast, which will be the Godly Black Kamehameha. Now this is a rush attack, so that means you can block against it, but if you're catching your opponent off guard, they are going to take the full blunt of this and take a whopping damage of 18,526 if I'm right with that, which is pretty nice. Now to just show off his key blast while my opponent is blocking, so you can see it's pretty basic attack. Now the charge one while he's moving, pretty basic, but while you're stationary it becomes unblockable, and therefore doing 2084 damage with Goku Black. So that's his unique feature. Every other character seems to have their own unique move as well, so obviously when it comes down to it, I'll be able to elaborate a bit more on those. But in his base form, as you see, his charge attack will be a bit different, which won't be unblockable unfortunately, but
you fool!
Again, it's pretty much like every one other ones, so you can see here. But the benefit of using Goku Black Rose is obviously the damage, rolling hammer, his instant transmission, audacious laugh, and his ultimates and supers that are doing a lot more damage. So there you have it. That's Goku Black Rose's basic breakdown. If there's any more information you'd like to know, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll let you know in the comment box below. Anyways, let's get it. Bow!
Ways on the train, make games like I send you good for the pain. Cells that react, maybe go on stronger. System go lit like a TNT wick spot. If they be launched at me, then I'm on guard. They need to retreat, they be beating this dunya. Pizza, none of in a freezer. Heal up and cut like a rim cut Caesar. I'm send like a ruler. Once in a blue moon, go ape like a GR. Don't you give it.